Hello, this is I Go Travel with Don Barnett. My friend Patrick went to France and took some videos of his trip there in Paris. And one of the places that he visited was the tomb of the great dictator from France, Napoleon Bonaparte. And we'll take a look at his tomb in this video, and some of the things that he did might have implications to us here in Canada.
Okay, this is Napoleon's tomb, and it's right beside the Paris Armory. So basically, let me just give you a little bit of view. So if you look right there, that's Napoleon's tomb.
This is the armory.
And also the Paris Armory.
Paris.
So just give you a little bit of view.
It's quite interesting. It's quite big.
View of
I
it.
sort of didn't quite
Would
figure out where
that
it
total
was.
area of the armory,
Here
would
now
it be
it's
like
block.
a block square
I have
or
lots of
several
time.
blocks?
It would be several blocks.
Let's take a look at how Napoleon took the old idea of how things were organized under a thing called feudalism, and he destroyed that and brought the fairness, and he eliminated special status for certain citizens, and he brought democracy to the Western world. Napoleon was the dictator of France for only 15 years, but it took him only that amount of time to destroy the Bourbon family monarchy, the kings and queens who had ruled France for nearly 400 years. The system of rule had been called feudalism, in which a group of people in society had special status. The rulers, the Bourbon monarchy, then like a Canadian society today, bestowed special status and special privileges on a selected group. In France, this special group was called the nobility, and they received special status by way of power and influence on the way things were done. Once Napoleon acquired power, it took him, like I said, only 15 years. But 10 years prior to that, the French Revolution, so much unfairness at some point brings violence. And they had a revolution in France that lasted for 10 years, and it was the end of the 400-year-long Bourbon family rule in France. And near the end, you might you might have heard of Marie Antoinette, the queen, who was executed. And by the way, Marie Antoinette's final words before the big guillotine came down and chopped her head off, she accidentally, as she stepped up to the guillotine, she accidentally stepped on the toes of the executioner. And her last words were to him. She says, "Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon, please forgive me." And the executioner pushed the lever and decapitated her.
Okay, now we're going through Napoleon's tomb. It's quite the quite the tomb, or quite the architecture. So that would be Napoleon's tomb, Napoleon, where he's laid right there.
The special status enjoyed by a special group in historic France called the nobility, that element of special status can be seen in Canada today. A modern example is the same special status given to Indigenous people in Canada today. They have been given special status, just as the French had done with the nobility at their time. The nobility had privileged, and they held lands and economic and social advantages. In Canada today, the privileged minority holds land, and is favored economically and with many social advantages. The decisions is based on a minority decision, the nobility in France, in early France. Today in Canada, decisions are more and more based on minority agreement and okay, especially when it comes to land use and resource development. The old Napoleon, who changed France, he was a dictator, but he brought democracy. He destroyed feudalism and brought democracy. Canada seems to be, it could be argued, is on the road away from democracy with its special status. On the bottom here it says, special status is the antithesis of true democracy. Those in position of special status will fight to the end to continue their favored positions. They claim their favored position based on longevity, as the first here, claiming that everyone should feel guilty for how history has inevitably evolved, forever crying unfair. They ignore the help that was given to make the very adjustments toward their favored positions, claiming cultural bias and cultural disintegration, rather than acknowledging the change and assistance that the country offered in order for them to adjust to, again, inevitable change. Those favored as special citizens will blame the country that has provided for them, enabled them to survive the inevitable cultural change that others in the society in less favored positions and treatment have survived successfully. How did things work out in France? Well, when Napoleon was finally defeated at the Battle of Waterloo, those favored, the nobles, saw their chance. They had him arrested and exiled in prison in the far-off Mediterranean on an island, where he died eventually. And the old boys, those favored with special status, the nobles, took control again. However, the people had had enough. The violence continued, and the Bourbon monarchy was eventually eliminated from France. Today, France has no monarchy, but they do enjoy a fair kind of a democracy that is equal, and there are no special status in it. Look across the world. Today, modern democracies do not recognize special status, but adhere to the principle that all citizens are fundamentally equal. That is what real democracy is all about. France, if you look at their history, they let this idea of a special status for certain elements in society go too far. And it eventually led to revolution and violence. Now, are we on that same road with offering special status to our citizens? Have we gone too far? At what point will we have gone too far? It's something for us to consider. Another way of putting it is asking the question, are we going down a French road? Or who will be our Napoleon? Will we continue to let the concept of special status tear our country apart? Well, if you want to think about that a little while, and In the meantime, if you want to see more videos, you can Google, just like it says there, Google my name, Don Barnett 5090. Click my name and then click the word playlists and scroll down. Each playlist contains several travel videos.